I just got a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and it said, "Gas the Aspies." So, gas the Aspies just amazes me. And no, I haven't been crying. I'm just tired because I'm up too late. I've been working really hard on my intro for my new poetry book on Kindle. And yeah, gas the Aspies. I know people like this are out there. The world is unfortunately full of people that without empathy, without compassion. But it just never fails to amaze me that people think like this. It's just so monstrous and hateful and vicious. It's hate speech is what it is. Should it be tolerated? Yeah, I can report it to YouTube, and I will. But I'm making a video about it right now because it prompts me to discuss all kinds of bullying and harsh criticisms and vicious attacks on Aspies and people like me who are speaking from the heart and are speaking out for change. Should it be tolerated? No. But at the same time, we have to develop a thick skin because the sad reality that we have to accept is that there are people like this out there, and they're pathetic. They're honestly pathetic. They're beastly. I don't mean to be hypocritical in saying that about anyone, but truly, innocent people need to be gassed based on the fact that they're different or that ultimately they're threatening the person that's saying that in some way, making them feel defensive because what the person really feels is inferior and hateful and wanting to knock down and shoot down and bring down people that appear to be self-assured or happy. That's basically what these sick individuals do. And when you're in the love of power rather than the power of love, you have the opposite to the power of love. You have the love of power, which, if it were the opposite to the power of love, is devoid in love. And devoid in love could translate to devoid in empathy and devoid in compassion and sociopathy, I suppose. What's really sad about today is that too many of these people get away with too much and have too much power. And it's because of fear. What's really interesting is that, fear, if you think about it, brings out immense power. Like when you see a child pinned under a car, the fear response produces adrenaline and gives one a superhuman ability to lift the car. That's a good kind of fear. That's a good emergency response. And often people who are loving people who are too often in emergency response will end up overextending themselves to others or maybe hurting themselves. But people who solely fear the loss of their power, because ultimately people who are devoid in love and are not naturally loving creatures, they're jealous of empaths like me and like other Aspies and other people who are different and innocent and speak truth and are happy with that in their hearts. They don't like people like that. So we have to expect that they're bound to attack. And the more that they attack, what I do now is I look the beast in the eye, but I don't get down to their level of attacking, because to this extent that you stoop down to their level, the more vicious they get. And You have to almost ignore them. It's like not throwing fuel on a fire until it kind of burns out, or, not swatting the wasp when it's buzzing around in the room. You put down a boundary and you say, it's not okay. You're in the wrong. I know that you're in the wrong and you need to leave or you need to stop. And I'm not going to accept anything you say because it's crap. I've called people who are like this. I've been like, I'm not listening to you anymore. You don't like what I have to say because it frightens you, because it threatens you, and because I have love for others and love for myself. Love is a powerful thing. It threatens people who are not loving, who are the opposite. It is very threatening because it threatens to take their power, because love is powerful in a beautiful, good way. There's evil power and there's loving power, like higher power, the power of God, angels, whatever, the universe, however you want to think of it, the light, good energy. Do I believe in dark energy and light energy? Yeah, I do. I've developed a theory on that. But back to these people, these bullies, gas the Aspies. That's about the worst that you can get in terms of an offensive comment. I mean, that person obviously on a spectrum between sociopathy and empathy. They're right over on the sociopathy side. But you have people, in the middle who are desensitized, and people that are sort of Machiavellian, so, apathetic, but, maybe somewhat capable of localized empathy, particularly with their own family members, most likely. But anyway, people on the autism spectrum and those who are highly sensitive and who think outside the box and have a strong intuition and a strong heart are going to threaten these people who are the further along the spectrum toward the opposite of love. People who are brainwashed by the indoctrination of retaining power means happiness and satisfaction. And it's what life is about, and what is to be achieved in life is retaining wealth and power over others and material gain. Not that I'm Christian, any religion in particular, but it's rather evil, I think, to worship that type of thing. It is sort of like worshiping the devil. It's not bad to enjoy treating oneself here and there, and, as long as it doesn't become, like, for example, celebrities buying their kids, their baby kids who don't know the difference between, value of things at their age, diamond studded baby shoes and stuff like that. That's worshiping material completely unnecessarily, and wasting money that could be going to much more important things in the world, feeding starving children and whatnot. That's evil to me. And so is saying gas the Aspies, because it's saying get rid of, you look through your fingers at the creature that said such a thing. And I honestly, I hate to be hypocritical, but whether that person has any deep down capability to have empathy, the behavior is creature like. I wouldn't even know what creature, because many animals are quite loving, but beastly creature like. Inhuman, really. That's the worst case scenario. But you've got lots of in betweens, and they come in the form of doctors and other professionals, and people out there who are buying into the indoctrination that true honesty, pure hearted honesty, unconditional love, actions of bravery and questioning of older ideas in favor of formulating new ideas is all seen as a threat. That's where you're going to meet with a lot of resistance, where Aspies and those similar are going to meet with resistance, because those that are enjoying power and control at the expense of controlling and putting fear into others clearly don't want anything or anybody to come along and threaten that. So ultimately, if we look through our fingers and we stand strong and we if we love ourselves enough to know just one thing, when these people, we love ourselves enough to know these key things. First, we stand in our truth. We walk in our own shoes, and we know what our experience means to us and what the truth is regarding that. When a troll, a bully, or even a professional attacks, denounces, criticizes, puts down, devalues your experience, the way you are, the way you think, it's because there's something inside of you, something inside of me, that threatened them, that threatened their power. And that's a compliment. It's a compliment because it means that you've scared them. Whether they're conscious of it or not, and whether they're too busy brainwashed in the indoctrination of defending a system of power that doesn't want to be broken, you have threatened them. Because what you have said, they know is going to affect people that do have hearts and do think along the lines of love and do want positive change and social justice and equality of rights and better human ethics and better practices and more metaphysically correct principles to once again be practiced on this earth where we have lost touch with that. When a bully attacks you, they know how to hurt you. Believe you me, one thing that my dad always told me about these people is they will call the kettle black. It means that they will call you what they are. They'll mirror themselves into you. And they'll make you feel like exactly the opposite as to what you are. And that's because what they're really fearing is themselves in a way. I've been called manipulative, narcissistic. I've been accused of lying and making up stories about my life and about how I think and what I feel, how I feel about things and my observations and whatever, for the sake of gaining attention for myself. But you see, they're preying upon my weaknesses because a lot of Aspies are self-conscious about appearing as though they're consumed with themselves, because a lot of Aspies didn't get heard. I don't know if you've heard of the term indigo child, but it's a spiritual term for, a progressive spirit, and it's an inbuilt characteristic to want to speak out and express oneself. It doesn't need to be perverted into, that means you are arrogant. It means that you have this inherent self-love. And if you have self-love, not an inflated ego, genuine self-love and confidence to speak out, then you're much more able to help others. How can you help others if you don't have some degree of core self-love? Even if your confidence has been shaken, we Aspies and indigo babies have been made to feel ashamed for the fact that we have this self-assuredness, this strong spirit, like we know what is true to our hearts. We've been shamed for that. That's a trigger area for us. So they'll be nasty. They'll make you feel exactly what is not your intention and exactly what you've been criticized of in the past. And they're good at that, and they continue to succeed in keeping many people like us down and out, and even pushed to the brink of insanity, drug addiction, mental illness, agony. But I won't be a victim anymore. I've been a victim for too long, and I'm trying to heal. In fact, no, correction, I am healing. And I'm hoping that what I say can help others heal that deserve to be healed, so that we can be strong enough to develop that self-love that we were inherently born with and that we were shamed away from. We can learn to ignore and be aware that these bullies will want to prey upon that. And we will continue to speak out, rise above, put boundaries up, calmly, self-assuredly, and do not take those words to heart. They are attacks. Turn it around in your mind like I have had to do, because believe you me, I've gotten some nasty comments on my videos. And I received a massive blow this year when I opened up to a psychiatrist who was one of those people. As it turned out, I got an entire 8-page report's worth on what my character was perverted to be for the sake of an attack. That thing nearly destroyed me, but it made me strong to bullies and these trolls. Once I finally got up and got over that stupid report, that insane report that I know does not represent me whatsoever, I can hear "Gas the Aspies" and know where it comes from. Because I love me. And it took me a long time to get there. That report happened to me for a reason. It was horrible, and that woman will eventually, in the universe's time, not my time, get her karma. And I don't know how conscious she was of what she did. She could have been just a very sick person who is very cynical enough for my confidence to... And it's funny because when I was still getting over it, one of my subscribers said something of this nature to me, that my confidence threatened her so badly that she wrote something so outrageous that a legal aid lawyer informed me that I in fact have a malpractice case because she overstepped professionalism. That's how mad I made her. You see, that's how hard I worked on myself in terms of awareness. And you know what? Maybe I was a little too cocky. Maybe I wasn't careful. And I learned the hard way that the way that I was caused me to be seen in the way that I was to somebody very cynical, critical, and insecure and unwell. Yes, professionals can be very insecure and sick people, just as anyone can. But unfortunately, they have an ability to abuse their power. After reading the insanity of what I read that was supposed to represent me on paper, for another person to possibly read who doesn't know me to come to a conclusion about me, posing a risk to my health and safety. Well, after reading something that bad, falling down all the way, falling down all the way to the edge of hell and refusing to fall in the pit because I dug down so deep inside of my soul. And I said, wait a minute. Why am I questioning this? Why am I upset by this? If anything, there was some grief because, oh no, it's not true. But beyond and past the grief, I got up. I stopped taking things that I read so literally because it was just too ridiculous to do so. Without any proof, somebody could say that I have factitious disorder, which means that I make everything up in my head because I'm sick in the head and nothing that I say or do is real. In the face of the facts that I have diagnoses, medical diagnoses, and all this evidence, but aside from all of that, most importantly, saying that I made up stuff that I know happened to me, absolutely absurd. And I thought, okay, I know that this is extremely absurd. So because I know that this is extremely absurd, and I don't deserve to be mocked any further by allowing myself to be upset by this. I know now that when any troll or critic or even skeptic bullies me, criticizes me, denies me, puts me down in these ways, that it's a compliment. They just didn't like my confidence, and they're trying to hurt me. They're trying to weaken me. Do I need somebody else to tell me who I am? No. I may be complex. I may not be perfect. I may have problems. But I know I'm a good person. You bet your ass. So no, I don't need anybody to tell me who I am. And next time that a troll or a bully says something nasty to you for you speaking your mind, speaking from your heart, and being different, being true, that's what's going on. Period. If you feel your heart swell like this, if you want the best for people, if you are a purposeful, meaningful person, and then somebody goes and says that that's exactly what you're not, then that is why they said that to you. Because they're jealous of your beauty, of your love. We can't let it bring us down anymore. I am so tired of hearing about Aspies being abused and hurt. Join me and get up. Last point and bottom line. If a bully attacks you and says terrible things to you, and you know that you're a loving person, put the two together and see that it's merely an attack from somebody who doesn't want you to take away their power and their ability to continue to retain their power, their wealth, their satisfaction, and their materialism at the expense of and without regard for others. That's it. And thank God I know better. Nearly killed me, but I know better. It's like that song. Shoot me down, but I will fall. I am titanium. You know that song. If you need a bit of help brushing that kind of thing off, YouTube the song Titanium. Listen to it over and over. That's what I did till it sunk in.